a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And welcome to the Consumer Quarterback Show. Thank you so much for spending some time with us here, supporting the program. We greatly appreciate you for doing that and stopping by our website, consumerqb.com, where you can see links there to all of our expert contributors, all of our great business owners, attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors, home service providers, lots of different ways we can be that consumer advocate for you and help you live a better life, avoid commission-based advice. That's always been our goal here at the Consumer Quarterback Show, over 10 years on air now, and we got a great lineup for you today as well. We've got Shane Socash coming on the program. He talks a lot about these alternative investment opportunities and a lot of people buying precious metals and gold, silver, platinum. We're going to talk with Shane Socash, David Reynolds Jewelry and Coin coming up here in just a moment, as well as Alex Lima, Black Belt Fitness and Martial Arts, and Captain Will Smith in studio. He brought a guest with him today as well. Scott Anderson is the president of Share the Love Charities. We're going to talk about their charity, an event coming up as well, golf event coming up in January that you can be a part of as well. Before we do, we always like to feature our real estate properties, part of our strategy that helps our sellers sell faster. We're powered by the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty, and our idea and the strategy is to help sellers sell faster, promote their properties live on air on our syndicated talk show. So we've got a new listing here at 501 Haben Boulevard, number 803. This is in Palmetto, Florida. A beautiful property. I love the view from this 8th-story condo here. Gorgeous property, 2-bedroom, 2-bath. You got a flexible office space as well. Could be converted to a 3rd bedroom, but might be a little awkward there. But 1543 square feet heated at 501 Haben Boulevard, number 803. You have a beautiful kitchen, panoramic views, gorgeous views here, and you're overlooking the Riviera Dunes Marina. This is a great opportunity to own real estate here. You have access to the views that are extending to the Manatee River, the marina, tranquil community. You have a heated pool, climate control storage, underbuilding parking. Great opportunity for a condo in Palmetto, 501 Haben Boulevard, unit number 803. All right, I want to talk about a commercial property here. Michelle on our team has this beautiful listing at 7300 Shoreline Boulevard in Weeki Wachee. This is a unique opportunity to own a motel. You have a commercial property, residential lot included, 5 fully furnished waterfront suites. You have kayaks and furnishings that are included. This property is situated on a double lot, picturesque and serene location with river access. This is in Weeki Wachee. It's home of the mermaids. There are mermaids there as well. Explore the outdoors, take a break from the hustle and bustle of that city life, and get out to Weeki Wachee. And this could be yours. This could be a opportunity, a business opportunity that you maybe want to kind of slow down and say, hey, I'm moving to Weeki Wachee. I'm running this B&B type resort destination, a manatee, beautiful property here, Weeki Wachee, Florida. Check out 7300 Shoreline Boulevard, Weeki Wachee, $1.7 million listing from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. And you can see all of our listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
And yeah, I'm raising my glass to those saving our ass overseas.
All right, we also have a clothing swap coming up as well. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to help my wife, Lindsay, get the word out for this. Lindsay and the team has been working on this for months. We've been sorting lots of clothing up to I think we have over 2,000 items available now. It's called the Great Clothing Swap Charity Event. Come and shop till you drop on Saturday, November 4th, 9 a.m. at Tarpon Springs Yacht Club. It's an all-day event. Now, early, folks, that if you buy the VIP ticket, you're getting in early. I think it's $35. You get mimosas, appetizers, massage chairs, live music, and you get first look at some of the gently used clothing that they've been gathering. And this is to benefit women and children in the Tampa Bay area as well. All women are going to be associated with this. So great opportunity, great clothing swap. You can see it on Eventbrite as well as Facebook event as well. All right, let's jump into it. Captain Will Smith, welcome back, my friend.
Good to see you, Brandon.
Yes,
How
sir.
You been?
Oh, doing well, man. Blessed and highly favored, brother. How about yourself?
Me as well, brother. I just got back from Ocean Reef this morning, so it's nice territory down there.
Where is that at?
It's right where Key Largo is, right east of Miami. It's a little island. It's where the Keys start.
Nice, yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a good place to go to.
What an awesome area. I love the Keys, man.
Yeah, they're fun.
Fun times, fun times. You brought a special guest with you today. Can you introduce your guest for us?
Dr. Scott Anderson. We've known each other for well over 20 years, and he does a lot for the community in the area. He's highly rated. I refer people to him. He has success stories. He has clients calling back 10 years later, saying, "Thank you for saving my life." And it's just good to have people like Dr. Scott here that can help people that are struggling through addiction and recovery.
Yeah, tell me about that. Welcome in.
Well, nice to meet you. It's great to see you. Basically, what we are doing with the charity, Share the Love Charities, I started that organization about 8 years ago. It's to gather funding. The problem that we're having in society these days is there's an epidemic of mental health and substance abuse. So
right.
It's detrimental, obviously, to our own communities, let alone the United States. So I wanted to, and since I'm fighting on the front lines of that for the last 25 years with Addiction Recovery Care of Tampa, I found that there's a need for funding because insurance just simply won't cover the treatment portion. They cover the medical necessity parts, which is the rehab and the detox. But again, the treatment part is the primary part of getting well, and they just don't cover that part, the insurance company. So I found that we had to find additional sourcing. So I donated like 30% of my income towards scholarships, and I found that most of the people that I work with that are struggling with DUIs or probationary things, they're starting to go down that path.
Mm-hmm.
And if you intervene and help them, what happens is they're able to turn it around.
Yeah.
And they're able to become prosperous and get their dignity back and be able to be employed and prosperous and giving back to society. When you don't, they go down a really dark path. And
right.
Unfortunately, that leads to all kinds of advancements in mental health and substance abuse, which leads to all the issues we're having in society. So
yeah.
I found that if you put an intervention in at early on, the recovery rate is outstanding. So it's just finding funding. So that's why I started that. We want to put on events so that we can get some of the funding for the treatment and the facilitation of that treatment and education.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important. Catching it early on, and we all have family members. I'm sure almost anybody listening to this has a family member who's been there, had the DUI or a slippery slope or a divorce, or maybe even veterans. A lot of veterans come back overseas from overseas. Maybe they were in active duty in hand-to-hand combat, and they come back and kind of thrown back into normal life, and they're dealing with all these different challenges. Of course, we had this unprecedented lockdown with mandates and things of that nature, the mask covering people's face. There's a lot thrown at the American people this last 3 years.
That's why I say it's epidemic, because after the lockdown and with all the things going on currently in our society, especially with government, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
People are, statistically, the new statistics are out.
Right.
1 in 2 people suffer with clinical mental health issues.
Wow.
Substance abuse if you could literally, you're looking at about 7 out of 10 people suffer with substance abuse and or mental health issues.
Wow.
That's,
staggering.
It's staggering. Yeah. And it affects all families, and that's who we cater to, veterans and families in our community, to try to restore that hope and that dignity and that prosperity back into our societies and to these families. The biggest problem that most families suffer with is the dissolution of the family, fatherless homes.
Exactly.
And that's what is the underpinning criteria for the dysfunction of children.
Yep.
And they grow up to be dysfunctional and so on. So we want to reunify and fix and patch up the families.
Yeah.
And that's the way to do it. You intervene, but we need funding.
That's such a great point. I mean, it really is. It's refreshing to hear people say that, because if you listen to guys like Larry Elder, he was one of the main that really kind of turned my mind on it. It's like, wow, if you look at Larry Elder, and because they try to, when I say they, of course we know who they are in a lot of cases. They try to make it more of a race thing, black, white, and Latino, whatever it might be. But it's really a father figure in the house. It's biblical values. It's respect. It's self-reliance and self-responsibility, right? So you hit it right on the head. It's having that father figure in the home. Growing up, I knew that I was going to get my butt whooped if I did something wrong. And I would not do certain things because I knew I had that authority at home.
Consequences.
Yeah, you had the consequences. So you have that situation. So if you just joined us, folks, we're talking with Captain Will Smith here in studio. Will Smith, Aviation, and author of Falling from the Sky is his book. We'll talk about the book here in a moment. Scott Anderson, Dr. Scott Anderson, here as well. He's the president of Share the Love Charities, sharethlovecharities.org. And what kind of doctor are you?
Well, a PhD, and I'm have an LMHC, which is a licensed psychotherapist, and then I'm also board certified in addiction.
Okay.
So
Yeah, and getting board certification is a big deal.
Big
It's
deal.
like
Absolutely.
top 1% or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and when I heard about that first, when I started the show about 10 years ago with attorneys, some of the attorneys were very like, hey, you can't call me an expert because I'm not board certified.
Exactly.
I was like, well, you could still be, I guess, an expert in a situation, but I guess there's a certain
I'm
rule
recognized as a leading expert in those areas. Absolutely.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. All right, so let's dive deeper here. So what can we do, of course, as an audience? And I want to talk about the event coming up, but I like that train of thought we were on there. Is the families? We got to solidify the families, and I think it comes to the churches as well. If you bring that out, it's like, who's your bigger family? Well, it's your family of believers, your family of people around you, your support systems. Can you elaborate on that?
Of course. I mean, all dysfunction stems from basically developmental milestones that aren't met, and the family, the parents, are the ones that do it. Unfortunately, right now, there's an epidemic of best friend parenting. I call it entitled child syndrome. I've been studying it and doing lectures on it for some time. I have a whole YouTube channel on all of this stuff, and basically what happens is when children don't have discipline, routine, and structure in the family, or there's a single family home, what happens is they don't learn impulse control. They don't learn delayed gratification. They don't learn boundaries and rules. And the parents fix all of the problems. They don't allow the child to feel discomfort.
Yep.
So they don't learn to sacrifice. They don't learn work ethic.
Yep.
They don't learn the sacrifice necessary. And as a result of that, they don't learn coping. They don't learn how to self-soothe. They don't learn how to take care of their own problems. That builds confidence and self-esteem and self-worth. So when you're lacking all of that, basically you're creating a learned helpless, a victim.
Yeah.
And that's the ultimate detriment to a child, is when the parents create this. Now, the intention is good and it's very loving. The problem is the execution of it is detrimental to the child.
Yeah.
So these kids grow up entitled, and they have an over-exaggerated sense of self.
Yep.
They don't have any impulse control. They have no coping skills.
Yep.
And what happens when you turn that loose into school and society, obviously we're going to have a generation or two like we have now that are just inept at handling life. They're terrified of everything. They're looking for victimization of everything as their is their sense of identity and self-worth. They don't belong to anything. They're not part of anything.
Right.
Parents aren't actively engaging children the way they're supposed to. They give them the cell phones and the social media, and so kids
way
are
too early.
Overstimulated to the point where they're overstimulated. You have the ventral tegmental area in the brain for satiation and pleasure. The dopamine nucleus incumbent pathways are stimulated with these stimulus, and if you overstimulate, you have too much serotonin, and that can cause anxiety, panic attacks, depression, all kinds of issues. And you see that the prevalence of just suicidal ideations in young females and adolescents is skyrocketing. I mean, you're talking 200-300%, like 67% report having that. So, and again, I can tell you, it's from the social media. It's if you're on the phone more than an hour and a half doing social media for children, you have a 3 to 4 times more likelihood of having those issues of depression, anxiety, low self-esteem, suicidal ideations. It's just, again, we're not connected. You're not involved in community. That's where church, that's where extracurricular activities, that's where playing games and sports and being part of a team. That was what we used to use to make up for parents that were working 60 hours a week,
Right.
or dad that travels all the time, or mom that wasn't engaging all the way.
Yep.
And since we've locked that out, now we have all the dysfunction as a result of it. So it's important to have those community supports.
Yeah, it really is. And Dr. Scott Anderson, wow, that was really good, man. The epidemic of best friend parenting,
Yeah.
that was a rider downer there. I mean,
I
that's
call it entitled child syndrome.
Yeah.
I've been talking about it for 15 years, and people, you know, they didn't like to hear it. Parents don't want to hear that what they're doing is causing the problem.
Give me a
it is.
tease of what we're going to talk about next. We got to go to break here, but
Sure.
tease where we want to take this next. Just
Well,
give us a
I
teaser.
want to talk about how we can fix it.
Okay, let's
Because
talk about
everybody
the
talks
solution.
about the obvious,
I
but
love it.
I have practical solutions and
There we go.
applications.
Practical solutions to what we just outlined, and I know a lot of you are riding in your car, you're watching the podcast, you're like, yep, I'm shaking my head, yep, okay. So because over 50% of the parents or the households are now single parent households, and you got one parent that wants to be the best friend and the other parent that's more godly maybe, and saying, hey, Dennis Prager talks about this in his Rational Bible series as well. It's a wow, this is good. So we're going to come back, we're going to talk about solutions more with Dr. Scott Anderson, and also Captain Will Smith. We're going to talk about his book and some of the other things he's doing in the community as well to help reduce the recidivism rate with people getting out of prison. So coming back here, Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
This is Warwick Dunn, and you're listening to the Real Estate Quarterback Show hosted by my man, Brandon Rhymes.
To get in touch with Brandon, call 727-263-3707. Online at consumerqb.com.
Dennis Prager here for Brandon and Lindsay Rhymes, owners of the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams. Buying, selling, investing in real estate, their nationwide Keller Williams network makes them the best team to work with. Sellers, have your property featured live on air, creating multiple offers. Buyers, leverage a unique system that gets your offer accepted, never overlooked. Call or text 813-750-0550, 813-750-0550, or consumerqb.com.
I want to give a special thanks to Satellite Phone Store. They just hooked me up with this beautiful satellite phone, and it's a gorgeous phone. It's a great device. It's a safety device as well. Think about it. If you're out on the boat 40, 50 miles out, maybe you're going hunting or you're going hiking in the woods somewhere, you run out of cell phone service, or who knows, maybe a possible terrorist attack. It's not like our politicians aren't entrenched in all this stuff going on overseas, all over the place, all over the world. Could be a terrorist attack. They could attack the power grid. They could attack the cell phones. Who knows what they're going to attack next. sat123.com/REQB. Sat for satellite, sat123.com/REQB, like real estate quarterback.
You're listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes. Online at consumerqb.com. Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 consumer advocate for real estate and financial advice. Call Brandon today at 813-917-1894.
All right, Brandon Rhymes here in studio with Dr. Scott Anderson and Captain Will Smith. We're going to talk about the solutions, what we were just outlining with this epidemic of best friend parenting and social media and how that's playing out in the community. We've all seen and heard those types of similar stories. Before we do, just a couple of our hot listings here from the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. We like to feature our listings live on air as part of a strategy to help our sellers sell faster and get more exposure on the properties that we have listed here. We've got a property at 15900 Oakcrest Circle. This is a property that we've got listed. The owner's motivated here. I love it. This property because you have a propane generator as well at 15900 Oakcrest Circle. This property is a Brooksville property, large lots. The further north you go up into Pasco, you get larger lots as well. So 15900 Oakcrest Circle. And then we also have 7300 Southwind Drive in Hudson. 7300 Southwind Drive in Hudson. This is Pasco County, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1726 square feet. This offers the perfect blend of comfort and luxury, tranquil setting, beautiful pool. And what I love about this community is it's sea pine, so you have access to the Gulf of Mexico via the Community Association boat ramp. Check out 7300 Southwind Drive in Hudson, and you can see all of our listings at platinumcoastalelite.com.
Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road.
All right, right, so we got special guest Dr. Scott Anderson in studio today. Share the Love Charities. Captain Will Smith in studio as well. Tell us about the golf event, and then I want to jump right back into these solutions, because the golf event is a way that people can get involved and support the charity.
Absolutely. What we did is, and I've corresponded and collaborated with Captain Smith here, and we've been good friends for some time. And we put together a golf outing over at Plantation Palms here in Land O'Lakes. It's on January 19th, and basically what we're doing is raising money to scholarship the treatment and facilitation of education, support, and actual treatment for substance abuse and mental health to recipients that can be put back into society and become prosperous and get their dignity and hope back. Veterans and family is who we specialize with.
Yeah, that's awesome. So the first annual charity golf tournament and banquet on Friday, January 19th, 2024, all-day event, Plantation Palms Boulevard, Land O'Lakes, and you got different sponsorship opportunities there as well. I want to go back to the conversation we had. What are some of the solutions? And I know you have a YouTube channel as well people can check out.
Yeah, you can Google Dr. Anderson Addiction, and I'll pop up all over YouTube. I put out about 56 videos outlining specifically treatments, alternative treatments. See, the pharmacological treatments for depression and anxiety, my own personal opinion from what I've witnessed is they're more detrimental than good long term.
Wow.
They're not designed for that.
Yeah.
They're short term, and then you have to work to the underlying issue.
Exactly.
So we're more oriented in treatment of the etiology, the rather than treatment of the epidemiology, the origins of the problem.
Right, exactly.
If you resolve that, the symptoms go away. And a lot of times, Big Pharma just wants to, treat the symptoms.
Yep.
And again, that has its place, but not for the resolution of the problem. So basically, stabilization of the family.
Yep.
How do you do that? Well, you're an individual, so you have to take responsibility for yourself first and foremost, regardless of your past. So I tell people, in order to stabilize, and this is the key, one, you have to stop doing what's causing the problem. And that's abusing drugs and alcohol. And if you need help with that, there's help out there.
Yep.
Two, you have to organize and get structure and consistency in your life. You have to exercise. You have to check your diet and stop eating a bunch of things that it's like an engine to your car. The worse gas you put in it, the worse it's going to run.
Sure.
So just shoring up exercise and alleviating anxiety that way, and what your diet is, and not drinking stimulants all day long. And then the third is to get out and get connection to friends and family, especially church, especially support groups and family. And then the third is to engage in what caused the problem once you have that strength, and that you may need professional help for. And that's where the supports are out there.
And that's where you see a lot of people have the success through, the Alcoholics Anonymous type programs, right? Because they're going to meet with people, they're having accountability, they're building the community, they're hearing other people's stories. So now it's like, oh, this person, and I know Captain Will, 30 seconds back to you, but that's what worked a lot with your outreach program to help recidivism rate, because they wanted to hear it from somebody who's been in their shoes.
Been in prison, understood what they were going through, and they're getting out. They knew there was hope, they knew there was guidance, they knew there was leadership, they knew there was a program that could work, and it was successful. And that's how they related to me, and that's why we're successful with what we do.
Right? Yeah, because you respect somebody who's been there, done that much more than somebody who just has kind of talking about it, verbalizing it. So just final thought, Dr. Scott, how do you want people to connect with you? Is it sharethelovecharities.org?
Yeah, sharethelovecharities.org, or they can go Addiction to Recovery Care of Tampa, ARC of Tampa.
Okay.
Either or you can Google Dr. Anderson Addiction or Mental Health on YouTube, and there's a bunch of free videos out there that outline how to help yourself for free.
Good. That's great. Yep. So everybody listening, know somebody that needs to hear those videos. Google Dr. Anderson there, and that'd be a good start. Captain Will, thanks a lot. Appreciate you coming in,
brother.
Man.
Good seeing you again. See everybody January 19th.
That's right.
We'll have a blast.
Golf tournament coming up. All right, awesome. We're taking a quick break. We're going to come back. Alex Lima, Black Belt Fitness and Martial Arts. We're going to talk about some current events. Also, self-defense coming up here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening to my daddy's show. Please make sure to send him all of your real estate deals and subscribe to the Consumer Quarterback Show podcast on iTunes and Spotify.